Something that I'm asked a lot, but not as much as I would think I would be asked, is if I have siblings. And sometimes I can tell that people are asking because they need proof, but they don't really want to ask for it. So basically, this is my sister, and this is my brother. See, what had happened was, so I was adopted at birth by this lady. Well, I should say I was adopted by this family. But my dad is dead, so... By the way, he died when I was 6, so you don't gotta be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm fucking over it. Daddy! No issues here. My sister currently lives in France and has for many years. She's there with her husband and her 2 kids, my nephews. They're awesome. My brother is kind of an interesting story. So, I don't know if you know this, but he's actually a black albino as well. When he was, born, he was as white as I am, but he got more pigment because some albinos do that, but not me, because disrespect. As he got more pigment, his eyes got better because that's what's wrong with my eyes. So, not fair. His eyes still shake, and he has the melanin problems, obviously. It's just not fair that he got so much pigment. And he'll look like a fucking statue. Disrespect. Anyway, we're not technically blood. I mean, like, I'm not blood with none of it. But basically, when I moved from California to Florida, I went to a school after a couple of years called FSDB. Met Lee there. That's his name. His name's Lee. Or, a.k.a. Brother Come Shady, a.k.a. H.G. Guzzle. I call him H.G. Guzzle because it stands for He Got a Guzzle. Because every time I had something to drink and he wanted a sip, he would take a sip, but he would drink the whole shit, but keep making eye contact with disrespect. Anyway, I met him at FSDB, and we didn't get along at first, and then somehow we just became, like, close, like really close. Close to the point where it was a boarding school, and he started coming home with me every weekend. Not every weekend, but a lot of them. Sometimes I would go to his house, and sometimes he would come to mine. At this time, I wasn't really living in the bad part of town. It wasn't terrible. It was like one crackhead on, like one crack house on our entire street. A lot of cocaine, but only one crack. Lee, however, he lived in one of the worst neighborhoods in Jacksonville. But I came from California and poor, so it was fine with me. It was funny. Anytime my mom would come, because my mom's obviously, white, and every time she would come to the hood to pick like me up from Lee's house, the whole, like, she got respect. Don't nobody mess with Miss Heard. Lee's family life was not the most stable out of my shit was crazy, but woo! So basically my mom kind of adopted him. When we moved to Washington, he would come stay with us, and then after a while, he just came and just was living there. This whole idea that I have a family, whoever the fuck you want it to be, it really got instilled by my mom. I actually have 32 cousins on one side of my family. The Herds be fucking. But my mom has a sister that she basically adopted as her sister, and that person basically adopted her, and then their kids became my cousins, basically, and I grew up with them. To the point when we moved from Florida to Washington, they moved from Florida to Oregon just to be closer to us. And even though I do have like 32 cousins on one side of my family, my cousin Cameron is probably the closest cousin that I have. I'm closer to her than my sister. Not because I don't love my sister, it's just because my sister lives in France. So yes, I do have some siblings, but no, it's not going to make you understand this any better, bro.